Larry James. This video I'm titling Decide, Plan, and Begin. I have a podcast show called Speak with Larry's Podcast that I create every Monday. And when I create that podcast, it talks basically about assisting people with setting up the foundation of their online business, which is what my company does. But what I want to share with you today is about deciding that you're going to do something, creating a plan to follow, and beginning. Because until you put those three together, then you're not in the position or in the right mode to do anything different, right? Because that's the way the progression goes. Think about that. Anything you've ever done, you had to decide that you're going to do it. Then you had to plan, put the plan together. All of these parts are important. They're essential, right? And then you have to actually begin. Because if you don't begin, the deciding and the planning is for nothing, right? You're just wishing, you're just hoping, you're just thinking out loud perhaps. That's not the recipe for success. That's the recipe for sameness, to remain the same. Now, if you want to do something different, you have to, one, make a commitment. You have to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and that's it. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to create a speech, or I'm going to create a video, I'm going to create an audio. Whatever it is you want to do, you have to make the decision. Next comes the planning. How do you do that? The how is not really necessary until you decide. Now once you decide, then comes the how. Then you do your research. You have to find out how you want to create the video. Do you want to do the video with your camera, or would you like to do it with your webcam? Or would you like to do it with your video camera? See, there's a variety of options you have in that arena if that's what you want to do. Do you want to write a book? Do you want to write a 200-page book? Do you want to write a 50-page book? Do you want to have photos in there? How do you want to do all this? All this is necessary. These are the hows and the whats, right? So once you decide, then comes the plan. Do you want to set a deadline for when you finish? Absolutely. You always want to set a deadline, regardless. Because see, other than life, you want to have a deadline. You want to continue on with life, but you want to have a deadline with what you're doing. So you can go to the next thing, because that's how we, as human beings, are. We like to learn something, become good at it, perhaps an expert, get paid for it, move on to the next thing. Because you can't live your entire life from the laurels or the successes that you had in the past. People say all the time, I used to do this, or I used to do that. There's a quote that I heard that said, used to be's don't make no money. And you probably can relate to that, right? Or used to be's don't make no honey, right? So what are you doing now? What have you done lately? Decide, plan, and begin. SpeakWithLarry.com